Hello, welcome to this lesson. Today, I want to tell you something simple. You can speak English without grammar. Yes, it is true. You do not need to wait until you know all the rules. You can start now. When I started learning, I made many mistakes. I felt shy. I thought grammar was the answer, but it only made me slow. Then I found a better way. I listened more, and my English became better. If you are afraid to speak, or you forget grammar rules, this lesson will help you. It is easy, it is real, and it works. Lesson 1. Listen first, speak later. When I first started to learn English, I thought grammar was everything. I bought grammar books. I read the rules many times. But when I tried to speak, my words were slow. My mind was busy checking if the sentence was correct. I could not enjoy the conversation. People waited for me to finish, and I felt nervous. That is when I decided to stop learning grammar first. I made a new plan. I told myself, I will listen more than I speak. That was the moment my English started to grow fast. Every day, I gave myself time to listen to English. I did not sit with a book. I did not open a notebook. I just listened. I played podcasts while walking. I kept English songs on when I cooked. I watched TV shows without reading subtitles. At first, I did not understand every word, but I kept going. I listened again and again. My brain started to catch the sound of English. I began to notice how native speakers used words. I could hear the rise and fall in their voice. Slowly, I started to copy it without even trying. One day, I was waiting in line at a coffee shop. The person in front of me said, "Can I get a latte?" The words were so clear in my mind because I had heard them many times before. When my turn came, I said the same words. The worker understood me at once. I did not think about grammar. I just used the sound and the words I knew. That small moment made me feel confident. It showed me that listening can prepare you for speaking in real life. Listening is not just hearing sounds. It is training your brain to understand patterns. Native speakers do not think of grammar when they talk. They learned the patterns by hearing them many times since childhood. You can do the same. The more you listen, the more these patterns stay in your mind. Then, when you speak, the right words come out naturally. You do not need to pause to check a grammar rule. I made listening part of my daily life. In the morning, I played a short English news clip while getting ready. In the afternoon, I listened to a podcast while working out. At night, I watched a short video or a part of a movie. I did not worry if I missed some words. My goal was not to understand everything. My goal was to make my ears used to English. Over time, I could understand more without extra effort. Sometimes, I closed my eyes while listening. This helped me focus on the sound, not the screen. I noticed how native speakers joined words together. For example, they did not say going to slowly. They said gonna in fast speech. At first it surprised me, but later I could hear these changes easily. When I copied them, my English sounded more natural. There were days when I was tired and did not feel like studying, but listening was easy. I could do it while cleaning, driving, or relaxing. I did not need to sit at a desk. This made it simple to keep the habit. And because it was easy, I did it every day. The daily habit made a big difference in my progress. I joined a group call with some friends from different countries. I did not speak much, but I listened carefully. I noticed the way they started and ended their sentences. I picked up new phrases without writing them down. The next time I spoke, those phrases came out naturally. I realized that listening was teaching me how to build sentences without thinking of rules. You may feel shy to speak at first. That is okay. Spend time listening until your mind feels ready. You will see that after enough listening, speaking becomes easier. You will not need to remember grammar before every word. Your brain will connect the sounds and the meanings on its own. When you listen a lot, you also learn the right tone for different situations. You know when to sound friendly, when to sound serious, and when to sound polite. This is something grammar books cannot teach well. Only real listening can give you this skill. I also found that listening made me think in English more. When I heard the same words many times, they stayed in my mind. I started using them in my thoughts. I no longer translated from my language. This made my speaking faster and more confident. If you want to try this, start small. Choose something you enjoy, a short story, a podcast, or a YouTube channel. Listen to it every day, even if only for 10 minutes. Do not stop because you do not understand everything. Your brain needs time to adjust. Just keep listening. One day, you will notice that you understand a lot more than before. Listening first does not mean you will never learn grammar. It means you will give your brain the base it needs. Once you have heard English many times, grammar will be easier to understand. You will see the rules inside the sentences you already know. This is how children learn. They listen for years before they speak. You can do the same. The key is to make listening a habit. Turn it into something you look forward to. Pick topics you enjoy. If you like sports, listen to sports news. If you enjoy cooking, watch cooking videos in English. The more you enjoy it, the more you will stick to it. Over time, your speaking will improve without heavy grammar study. You will be able to join conversations and feel confident. Listening first is not magic. It is simply giving your brain the food it needs before asking it to run. Fill your mind with English sounds, and speaking will come naturally. I learned this from my own journey, and I know it can work for you too. Lesson 2. Learn phrases, not rules. When I tried to speak English in the beginning, I stopped many times. I was thinking about grammar. I was trying to put words together like a puzzle. This made my sentences slow. People could see I was not confident. I realized I needed another way. One day I heard someone say, "How have you been?" I had never learned that in a grammar book, but I heard it many times in movies. Soon, I started saying it too. People smiled because it sounded natural. That is when I understood something important. Learning phrases is easier than building sentences from rules. A phrase is a group of words you hear often. For example, "I'm on my way." That's a good idea. Or, "Let me think." You don't need to change the words. You just say them as they are. This makes speaking faster. You don't stop to check grammar in your head. I began to listen for phrases everywhere. In movies, I paused the video when I heard one. I repeated it out loud. I said it in the same tone as the speaker. After some days, I used the same phrases in real life. It felt easy because my mouth and brain already knew them. Once a friend invited me to lunch. Without thinking, I said, "Sounds great." I had heard this in TV shows many times. It was short and friendly. My friend understood me instantly. I didn't need to think about tenses or verb forms. Learning phrases also made me more confident in conversations. When someone asked me a question, I had ready-made answers in my mind. If someone said, "Thank you," I could say, "No problem," or "anytime." These were small sentences, but they made me sound fluent. I kept a small notebook. I wrote down only phrases, not grammar rules. Every day, I read them out loud. I didn't study them like school lessons. I treated them like tools. The more I used them, the stronger my English became. You can choose phrases for different situations. For ordering food, you can say, "Can I get a," or "I'll have the." For meeting new people, you can use "Nice to meet you," or "Where are you from?" These are easy, clear, and work in many places. I noticed that native speakers also use the same phrases again and again. They don't try to make every sentence new. They use what works. That's why their speech is fast. If you learn the same way, you can speak without stopping. Phrases also help you understand faster when others talk. If you already know, "I'm just kidding," you won't have to translate it. You will understand it the moment you hear it. This makes listening and speaking grow together. If you want to try this, start with 10p phrases. Pick ones you hear often. Use them every day. You will see that you can join conversations without thinking too much. Over time, you can add more phrases to your list. The best part is, phrases sound natural. People feel comfortable talking to you. You will not sound like a textbook. You will sound like a real person who knows how to talk in everyday life. Learning grammar is good later, but first, fill your mind with useful phrases. They will help you speak now, not after months of study. This is how I moved from slow sentences to quick, natural English. And you can too. Lesson 3. Think in English, not in your language. When I started speaking English, I translated every word in my head. First, I thought in my own language. Then I tried to change it into English. This made me slow. Sometimes I forgot the words. I lost my confidence. One day I decided to change this habit. I told myself, "From now I will think in English." I started small. If I saw a tree, I thought, "That is a tree." If I was hungry, I thought, "I want food." I used simple words. I did not care about grammar. At first, it felt strange. My brain wanted to go back to my old language, but I kept going. I described what I was doing in my head. I am walking. I am drinking water. I am reading. Slowly, my mind became used to it. After some weeks, I noticed something. My words came faster when I spoke. I did not pause to translate. I could join a conversation more easily. Thinking in English made me feel more natural. It also made me understand others faster. If you want to try this, begin with easy thoughts. Use the words you know. Practice every day. Soon your brain will stop translating. Speaking will feel simple, and you will enjoy it more. Lesson 4. Correct yourself with real English. I learned many phrases and words, but sometimes I still made mistakes. I wanted to speak better, so I started listening carefully to native speakers. When I heard a phrase I had used in a different way, I noticed it. I repeated the correct version. One time I said to a friend, "I am here since 2 hours." He smiled and said, "I've been here for 2 hours." I listened to his sentence and repeated it. This helped me remember the right way. I watched short videos and copied the way people spoke. I focused on the words, the order, and the sound. I compared it to what I had said before. Little by little, my sentences improved. Correcting yourself does not mean feeling bad about mistakes. It means using them to grow. Every mistake is a chance to learn something new. If you want to do this, pay attention when people speak. Notice the small details. Repeat them. Soon, your English will sound more like real-life English. Grammar will come naturally without heavy study. Now you know the 4 lessons that helped me speak English without grammar. First, I listened more than I spoke. Second, I learned phrases instead of rules. Third, I started thinking in English. Fourth, I corrected myself with real English. If you follow these steps, you will see change. Your words will come faster. Your confidence will grow. You will speak without fear. Remember, you do not need perfect grammar to start. You need practice. You need daily action. And you need to keep going, even on days when it feels hard. Start today. Listen. Repeat. Use what you know. And one day, you will realize you are speaking English without even thinking about the rules. The end.